High school is not very different. I feel like technology is a lot different. So we didn't have, when I was in high school, like cell phones. Cell phones were out, but they were a lot less high tech than they are now, and they weren't capable of like having all the information kind of around the world at your disposal. So that's one main difference. Like we still kind of had to use the library and stuff like that for research that you all don't necessarily need to use anymore. You have information all at your fingertips.
Some of the things that are different, I would say, the social scene is very different. We didn't have social media back then. We had this thing called instant messenger where you typed in messages to people online. But, we sent notes. We would handwrite notes and pass them in class. And I talked to my friends and my boyfriends on the phone, for hours. We didn't send texts. We didn't have any of that. So it was a little bit more, I think, personal, but at the same time, you didn't have access to as many different social avenues like you do now, like with social media. But one thing I think that's also changed is we had to be a little bit more accountable back when I was in high school because we didn't have access to all the technology. Like if somebody forgets to write their homework down here, they can go online and check their homework, right? So just that's definitely an advantage that this group has that we didn't have as kids. So
honestly, I think there are so many things that are exactly the same, like so many things. But the main difference, I think, social media has just like made interactions that normally would probably fade away turn into like a recurring and much larger issue. Things that occurred in my high school at that time, which is 20 years ago, would just sort of be like a rumor, right? But now you have evidence. You can take a picture or a video or whatever. And so that is different. I think that in some ways it puts a lot more pressure on students, almost that sort of feeling that you feel like people are always watching you, and that if you make a mistake or you do something that maybe you regret, you have to hope that no one was around to record it or take a picture of it because it's never going to go away. And that element didn't exist when I was in high school.
One interesting thing to know about me. I love basketball, but I never played basketball in high school. The high school I went to was Rice High School, and they had like a huge basketball program. I actually got to teach Kemba Walker, who plays for the Charlotte Hornets. So that's the type of school it was, and I wasn't nearly on that level. And so I just ended up never even trying out, honestly, from freshman year through senior year.
Interesting thing most people don't know about me is I majored in Spanish, but I also majored in Afro-American Studies in college.
I would probably be a physician. I actually went to medical school for a year, and honestly, I wasn't prepared mentally for the experience. I didn't know exactly what to expect, and I kind of went in and approached it the wrong way. I feel like my motivation was wrong, and so during that first year, I became discouraged and just realized it was too much of a sacrifice, and that's not what I wanted to do with my life. But I still loved the science end of it. I still love medicine, obviously, which is part of why I teach anatomy and physiology.
Believe it or not, I used to want to be a neurosurgeon, actually. When I found out how long I would have to be in school and do training, I realized I'm 32 now, and now I would officially be a neurosurgeon. That's how much school and training it would take. And knowing that I wanted to have children and a family, I just thought it's probably not the right thing. So.
Oh man, what would I be doing? Honestly, I'd probably be a photographer.